Some reason, stop. Oh, now it's live. Okay, now it's live. Okay. I'm live now. Wait, what? Start or stop recording? Like, it should automatically just know this. It should automatically know this. So we go back to library. There you go. There's a falsified copy. And then go back to capture. Pause. Okay, and now record. Whoa, 21 seconds. Okay, whatever. Okay, so folks, welcome again. I'm going to walk you through something real critical here. And we don't even need that anymore. There's my lovely face. Yeah. So here's the function of a 31-year-old who's come through a very different life. Okay, this really depends on how you're raised. And I get it, there's people with different religions, different backgrounds, different ethnics, different color of skin, you know, different wealth, different just fundamental understanding of how they were raised, grown up. And let me tell you something. I was raised by a same-sex couple, and I'm proud of that. All right, I didn't turn out funky, weird, or bizarre, and I certainly didn't turn out to be somebody who's, into my same sex or against my same sex. What I did witness, though, was that I couldn't really associate with either side because I was adjusted to somebody's relationship that never impaired me as a child, and I'm proud of that, okay? My sister, whether or not she's into this whole, like, public life, I am, because as a male, there is no such thing as double standard when it comes to men who are raised with same-sex couples, unless, of course, they've been completely turned into a one-sided type topic issue kind of, relationship in that partnership, whether they're too close with the woman or the man. Doesn't matter if it's two men or two women. Doesn't make a difference. What matters is who you are today and what actions you've done. If I've done something wrong in my past life, it's probably been made mistakes. We all make mistakes. Guess what? I have my dad's heart, his ticker, in the sense that my bad cholesterol, the the LDL, is always going to be up here, and my good cholesterol is always going to be, a bit under, like 1 or 2 points. The average good HDL is supposed to be at 40 or higher, and the bad is supposed to always be somewhere at that point, preferably in the average American, but just based on how people prefer to eat, which is their right, just like their right to smoke, their right to drink, their right to vape, their right to do illegal drugs and substances, which, yes, weed is still not legal in Florida where I live, and in other places it is, and it's still deemed a drug, because it is indeed, and a good feel, get you high, and yes, it is. I totally stand by this. Do I think it's a bad drug? No. There are people who are suffering from chronic pain, post-traumatic stress disorder, mainly from war, and soldiers that need that weed, smoke a little 420, whatever it may be, the Mary J, the ganja, however it's deemed, in whatever culture, being relation to Haitians, Americans, African Americans, Spanish, it doesn't matter what. The main root thing, and even apart from the subject background music that is being stated through this, that was actually a song from. Hold on 1 second here. That was sourced in from Billie Eilish, "Happier Than Ever." So I'm not trying to use scripted songs to play in part of my background to add some kind of better feeling effect. But what I am going to tell you is I'm an old soul. Okay, I'm a kind of guy that wants a woman. Not that I'm using this primarily as a dating ad, but I want a woman who's going to be interested in a kind of an old soul kind of guy who's not going to judge her, who's not going to put his hands on her in an inappropriate way, who's going to open the door for her, who's going to want to cook for her, who's going to want to support and be there by her side. Someone who doesn't like to fight and argue and abuse the relationship to make it all about himself, but make it more so for the ourselves kind of conversation. I'm 31, and let me tell you something. Time is precious. It's fleeting. It goes by like this, as fast as I just snap my fingers. Day by day, we see things going on all around the country and all throughout the world, and I kind of wonder now, where are all the real American women that are left? I mean, I seem to see this weird trend with perverts and pedophiles making their names in the news, and why even bring that up? Part of my ADD, my topics jump off topic, I'll jump into points, but I got a reason behind this. We got old creepy guys that are getting themselves caught all around America. Congratulations. You're a pervert. You deserve to get caught. You deserve to get arrested. You deserve to be put in your place for being a fool. You go and try to meet some underage kid, no matter what the case that is. Okay, but let's back things up a little bit here. What about the good guys? And not even necessarily all good guys. I'm not an angel. Certainly not the definition of a good guy. I am a good version of a good man who has tried to do good and has had failure and trial and error just like any other guy out there. And I certainly have had no reputation in taking reason to harm or take selfish action. In fact, I've been the opposite. I tend to, try to do a little too much good and think a little less of myself and more for someone else. And being an old soul, I want an old romance relationship mixed with a modern day fun kind of aspect. Also with the degree of masculinity and feminism levels. I want that to be a comfort level in the relationship. As anybody should ask for, they should not be asked to change other than for the person they love. And that doesn't mean to change everything about themselves. It means to change to show you're willing to try and compromise for the person that you love. That is why marriages will succeed and why some marriages do not succeed, because you don't have a shared partnership. There are women that are going to hear me say this as much as men, and they're going to think, well, it's easier said than done. And from my perception, in some cases, men or women, they would say, oh, I've only met the type that is always selfish or self-centered. But you got to also take for a fact, did you try to show them outside of your judgment? Did you let your judgment be the first thing that came involved in the relationship? Like me, I don't let my judgment come the first thing. As a matter of fact, I keep my mouth zipped. And that's kind of a problem for some. They don't speak up. But I do, actually. I do speak up. I do speak up when I start to see things kind of clash and collide. And I don't keep things hidden or bottled up to just explode. And no, that's not just a paraphrasing of an analogy for just a woman. Men have the same problem too. Men will keep stuff inside because they're not always the best at expressing tears and emotions, and this is normal. No guy is a push-me-over softie that's just going to explode with emotional sensitivity every 5 seconds. And that's, again, exaggeration. Not trying to say this just for women. There are some men out there that are just as sensitive, so don't think that I'm making a poke at the ladies and the female group. They're just only women that have crying fits of tears and emotional upset swings, and it has nothing to do with a woman's time of the month being on a period. There's guys that can be a little moody, a little cocky, a little arrogant, even a little bit aggressive, and it has nothing to do with how much is cranking out down below in their private area of the male body. It has nothing to do with that. What it does have to do with what's going on up here and what is processed and put throughout this. And if you're a liar, a deceiver, a manipulator, those are types of people that tend to test people's boundaries just to see how they react, just to arise a reaction out of them, just to see if they can flip the coin, switch the note, and test something else in the boundary of a relationship to see if they can get something else out of somebody that they couldn't get out of beforehand. And that just can mean that there can be a slow, protruding, poking type that try to dig through the relationship. Sometimes they try to probably even go too fast. You can always tell those who are running and rushing, just the same as the difference of those who run too fast on foot and always are bustling through and aggravating everybody because they're always pushing and shoving as if they're the most important person in the world. But they get behind a car or a vehicle and they drive as slow as can be. And then you have the opposite, people that speed like lunatics and they drive like nut jobs, but they walk super, super careful and gentle and gradual. And it just depends on the balance of how you drive, similar to how you live your life. Some people that are in a fast race to get through life on their own 2 feet are not so much in a quick race to drive their vehicle because they realize the responsibility behind that, and they treat everybody else on the road with greater care than the ones who tend to drive like reckless lunatics and not think about this. And then you have those who are more careful and cautious in life and have trouble catching up to all those who are walking too fast. And then there's the other concept, people that spend their money on things they don't need, which I get it, it's for entertainment and enjoyment. You got to find a balance, but there are some who are so codependent on a cycle of spending money to eat out, spending money on things that are not necessarily going to live a longevity of a lifetime in a relationship. It could be games, video games namely. It could be decorations, shoes, jewelry, bodily features, whether it's tattoos, but these are not bad things. But when you come down to meeting somebody finally for the first time and they look at you and they ask you, and you're starting to get to know each other, is it them judging you on the outside, or is it them knowing you on the inside? And yes, this is cheesy. Of course, I'm a Gen X, baby. I was raised in a silent generation. You know what silent generation means? They don't make a lot of yip and yap and complaints. They just get things done. They do stuff. They grew up in a tough and hardy lifestyle where they worked for a living. They understood you had to work to get something back in return. You earned respect. You didn't just buy into it. And I'm gonna conclude this, okay? Since I'm trying to pinpoint myself on a core value. If you really care about the values of getting to know people today, you're on a dating app or a social app, don't ghost them. If you really don't have an interest in them because they're not attractive to you, do them a favor and yourself a favor and stop spreading judgment, discrimination based on the way the person looks, the way their profile might be deemed. And don't just judge them off a few short words in a conversation. Because I can tell you right now, I've had people judge me, and I'm sure they've done this to you, man or woman seeing me say this, or even somebody younger. Give people a chance and a time to really understand them, and if you don't, ask questions and get to know somebody. Don't just rush the process. Life is gone too fast. Thank you for joining me, and I'll continue with the next video. I hope you follow me, as I hope to see a larger trend joining my channel, trying to rejuvenate the hope and faith in the good of humanity, just like good and small acts that are gone throughout the entire world that hardly ever get recognized in the news. But there are some stories that do, and some of those people aren't recognized today. And that is in statement of conclusion for my video. Thank you again. Have a good one. Bye-bye.